well. And she bought me a rucksack, and off we went, you know. And seriously, I was amazed how much I enjoyed it, you know. Apart from my feet getting dirty all the time. I didn't like dirty feet. So I had flip-flops on, you see. So I had to keep going to like the toilets and washing my feet, and you know, everyone thought it was a bit bizarre, but it's one of those sort of phobia things that I have. I've got a bit of OCD, I think. Am I just waffling on now? I don't know if he's going. What my sister? Where's the lovely Gemma? There she is. Am I waffling? I'm waffling on here, mate.
Well, I know we didn't want to interrupt. We just thought stand out here, let him ramble.
Do they do India at Co-op Travel? I don't know. I presume they do.
I'm sure they do.
Right, I've got a few pans on the go here, but essentially we only need 2 pans for this dish. This one is your, one I made earlier. I'll tell you what we're doing, okay? On this side, we're going to do little sort of meatball-y things. I'm not really starting. I'm just talking, really.
I'm normally giving a big introduction. Ladies and gentlemen!
On this side, we're just going to do like a meatball, but I'm using sausages to make the meatballs. And then I'm going to make a little sort of tomato and balsamic and fresh basil sauce, which really is beautiful. And there's a few onions and garlics and peppers and peas running through it. Served with a little bit of pasta, a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Because this is all about simple food, you know, just everyday ingredients that we all have in our cupboards, in our fridges, that don't cost the earth, you know. And to be honest, I think it's a great little dish. That's really tasty and a great sort of evening meal, you know. Just once a week, you can make this dish. And you can play on this dish. I'll talk about that later. You don't have to use spaghetti. You know, you can use like penne pasta and turn it into like a bake, you know, or fusilli or something like that. But I'm not going to that too much because on this side we're going to do my sort of berry crumble creams. And this is the first dish that I'm going to do. Okay, so we're going to do it slightly back to front. We're going to have the dessert first, and then you'll have your main course. It's just easier from a sampling point of view for me to do it that way. And then you actually get to try the dessert whilst I make the main course. So it just keeps you entertained for a bit longer, alright? Yeah? I don't want to keep, you know, there's so much to see on these, at this show. I had to have a quick walk around for half an hour with Jem. And I was just like, blimey, look at all these wax jackets there, 60 quid. I want a wax jacket. 60 quid, that's a bargain. I mean, ordinarily, like 150 quid, aren't they, or something? So I might have to blow the cobwebs off my wallet. You know, my fiance said, don't buy anything whilst you're there. I bought hats last time. Can't resist, you know. So we might have to just crack on, to be honest with you, because Pete's just, you know, chatting to Neil there. Neil's skiving again. I don't know how he does it, to be honest with you. This guy skives all the time. It's one of them guys that he thinks he looks busy, you know. He goes around, he sort of ferrets around doing stuff, but he doesn't actually do anything. Right, so we'll do the dessert first. It'll take 5 minutes to put this together, okay? Well done, Neil. Hey, clean the stove in there for me, mate. Whipping cream. You can use double cream if you want. Don't use single cream because it doesn't whip, okay? So I'm just going to put about 100 mils. I'm just making a couple of small ones here for you to try. Well, not to try, but, you know, just to see how they're made, and I've got a little sample that Jem's made for you. I'm just using these little tumblers. You know, you can make one big one if you want to, use ramekins, whatever you want, you know, but I like to use glasses because I like to put them in the fridge once I'm made them for about half an hour, just so the glass gets like a little bit of a frosting on it, and I just think it adds to the whole drama of the dish, okay? So, whipping cream, and then this stuff here, condensed milk, okay? We don't really use this very often, it's such an old-fashioned thing, isn't it? Evaporated milk and condensed milk. I think on its own, it's too heavy, too sweet, you know? But in a bit of whipped cream, it makes all the difference to the cream, okay? So I just literally put a couple of tablespoons into the cream, and then just whisk it up together, okay? I mean, you can use ice and sugar and vanilla if you want to, you know, the chantilly cream, but I just want to show you something a little bit different, okay? So, the evaporated milk goes in there, and then Jem's just going to whisk that up. Some seats down here, darling, if you want to, you know, take the weight off. No? You alright? And then all we want, we don't want to over-whip it, we just want to whip it so it's nice and soft. Because what I want it to do is when I put my berries through it, I want it to fall off the spoon. I don't want to sort of try and knock it off or brush it off my finger. It should just fall naturally. Okay? So what I'm going to do in this bowl is just take some, you're pretty familiar with this stuff, aren't you? Shortbread biscuits, well you better have it if you live in Scotland, you know? Blimey. So shortbread biscuits, they are Scottish ones and they are the truly irresistible ones from the cooperative, okay? Obviously, loads of butter in there, so I don't want to add anything to it because there's enough fat in there, okay? I'm calling these berry crumble creams because they've got berries in it, they've got cream in it, and they're crumbling. That's the idea behind it. So just take a rolling pin, and we're just going to crush the biscuits up a little bit, okay? Just so like a nice little fine powder. You know, this is great for kids to do. Get the kids making, you know, kids can whisk, kids can patch a few biscuits, you know. Anybody can make this. You know, you can chop a few berries and throw a bit of ice and sugar on it. You know, I think it'd be a really fun thing for children to do, and hopefully. You know, the thing with kids as well, when they cook, they like to try what they cook, don't they, you know? So many children nowadays don't like vegetables, don't like fruit. But if you actually make them cook it, or let them get involved in the cooking process, they actually are more intrigued and more likely to actually try what they're cooking, you know? So we just take our shortbread biscuit, and we just simply pop it in the bottom of our receptacle. Whatever receptacle, that's a posh word for an object of some description. It's a good one, that, isn't it? I like that one. So, just pop that into our glass, but you want to keep a little bit back, okay, because that's my garnish on top. So just a little bit left in the bowl there. Just going to put that to one side for the moment, give them a little shake, and then the berries. Blackberries, strawberries and raspberries, okay? You can use whatever you want, you know, you can use blueberries. If you don't like berries, obviously these are Scottish berries, goes without saying again, doesn't it? Because they are the best berries in the world. No questions, no, they are the best, you know. I've got some fruit bushes that I had delivered from Scotland in my garden, you know, and I get a nice little yield off them. Not as much as I'd hoped, to be honest, but, you know, I get enough for a couple of puddings a year out of it. And they just taste fantastic, you know, and they are sold all around the world, as you probably know, you know. And what we're going to do with these is just sort of macerate them, okay? So to do that, just add icing sugar to it. You could use caster sugar. It just takes a little bit longer to dissolve, okay? And the idea of putting the sugar on is to make the berries really sticky and juicy. And also as well, what it does, it sort of forms a fruit Kool-Aid at the bottom of the glass, okay, or the bowl or whatever. And just sort of mix it in a little bit. And then what I would ordinarily do is leave that now for about 10 or 15 minutes, just so that the berries start weeping and letting all their juices out, yeah? You can already see there that they've gone really sort of sticky and juicy. And then eventually what you'll get is when you pull all the berries, you'll have like a Kool-Aid at the bottom. And that is really nice, because what it does is it sort of, when you whip it into the cream, it turns a lovely, lovely sort of pinky sort of colour, okay? So what I'm going to do is just, I've got the cream and condensed milk in there, just nicely, softly whipped, like that. And then I'm going to add 3/4 of the berries into it. So they just go straight into there. And just keep a few back, just a couple, just to sit on top as another little bit of garnish, okay? And then just simply combine the berries. I mean, if you want, it's a bit like an eaten mess, I suppose, you know? So if you wanted to, you could put a bit of meringue in it, if you wanted to, you know, it's entirely up to you, you know? Maybe a little squeeze of lemon in it as well, just for a little bit of acidity running through it, you know? And then just take that lovely little berry mixture, and then spoon it into your glasses. You don't want to go all the way up. I think that's a little bit greedy, you know? Obviously with having cream, the fat content's quite high. So I think something like that is suffice for a portion, okay? And if you did want more than one, you can always have a second one, couldn't you? It's entirely up to you. And that suffices. You know, that actually looks really quite pretty, just on its own. But you know, I'm a food stylist. I am a chef. I trained as a chef. I went to university, did hotel catering management. I've never managed a hotel in my life. I never will do. But anyway, I've got the piece of paper to prove it. Essentially, I'm a food stylist, so I do a lot of food photography. I work with advertising agents and stuff like that. So, you know, presentation is paramount in that. Obviously, you know, like when you see pictures of food, you know, I took those pictures there, and just, you know, my pictures are everywhere in like magazines and stuff like that, and they always look really, really nice. Everyone says, you know, you get like a ready meal or something. Oh yeah, when I cook, it never looks like it on the packet. Obviously, because we sort of manipulate it a little bit. You know, we use like tweezers and move things around, and we paint them with oil and stuff like that. You know, hey?
We guess you do.
You guess that, yeah, absolutely. They never look the same. But I don't do much packaging anymore because I don't believe in it, you know. I do a lot of food demonstrations and writing. So, but anyway, you know, I go off on tangents, you know, so you need to reel me back in, you know, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. That could be your job in future. That's Pete, by the way. And then, you know, so to me, how food looks is very important. The taste is the key thing, but how it looks as well, you know, because first impressions really do count. And I think they look really, really nice, just like that, but obviously I've got that little bit of crumb left. And this is my sort of crumble topping to go over the top of it, like that. I'm just sort of spooning it over, sprinkling it over, and that's it, you know. And that's my little sort of berry crumble creams. And then leave those in the fridge for about 20 minutes. And because of the sugar, the juices from the berries will carry on seeping. And then you'll end up with these little sort of marble effects inside the glass, and they look absolutely stunning. And the one that we made earlier on went all the way down into the biscuit. And then the biscuits went like in this sort of beautiful little pink colour, you know. And I just think it's really nice, you know. It's very photogenic, and they taste good. And would you like to try one?
Yes, please.
Yes? You sure?
Yeah.
You don't sound too sure about that. I promise, they do taste good. Well, the lovely Gemma's knocked a few up for you to try. So, you know, let's show our appreciation to Gemma. And you can make little ones like that if you wanted to. You know, say you had a little party, a little barbecue, you've got 10, 20 guests coming round. You can make a load of small ones like that if you wanted to. Put them out, just a load of ice and sugar on them, you know, for presentation. And everyone can help themselves, you know. I'm just going to give the main course a stir now. Whoop.